Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Let's see. Let's
This is
see if
better.
let's see if I can do the class here. I'm going to tell you to the class, most of you, that I have had some problems with my signal, okay? So sometimes I'm going to go out or go in here, I don't know. Let's see what happens so far. So good evening to everybody.
Good evening,
Good
teacher.
evening.
We are
Good
going to
evening.
start, we are going to start our class
Evening, teacher.
here about theoretically two.
Theoretical, sir.
Yeah, just to be prepared, okay? We have just finished the practical, and some of you are going to continue with another class.
Yes.
Yes.
I know, I know. So I'm going to close here my video because maybe the signal is going to be failing. Okay, so what did we do last class, guys? We analyzed something about semantics, and we studied something related to that. Do you remember what we studied?
Utterances, sentences, and propositions.
Yes.
We talk about utterances, sentences,
Yes,
and
sir.
propositions.
And propositions.
Yeah. Do you have any question about that?
Not in this moment.
Not in this moment. Okay, so
Questions will pop up.
Teacher, this video is because the last
No, the
class
last
is not recorded.
no, the last was recorded. The problem was that I told you I went out of the city, so I was
Okay.
very busy and I couldn't upload it. The thing is, Sarah, that the previous class, the teaching practicum class, was not recorded because I was on my phone and
Okay.
I forgot. Okay.
Okay, no worry, teacher.
Yes, I am worried because I need it. But okay.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. So let's continue with this. Let me see. Let me see. Here's something. So, according to them, to the program, we had something to do, and it was the forum. Why do we have to analyze speech? And we have the forum in here, right? So you participated in the forum?
Yes,
Yes, I
teacher.
did.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I would like to chat a little bit about the answers that you have here. So what do you think we have to analyze speech? And another question that I have is, do you think that we need to include these aspects or these topics in our classes? Or
Absolutely.
what is that for? What do you think?
Abs- Absolutely. We have to include such items in our classes. I mean, when you teach an English class or in any language class, you don't only teach the linguistic aspects of the language you're teaching, but also the social linguistics behind it. I mean, how do people treat each other? How do they use the language to convey certain meanings?
Mm-hmm.
For example, how to use an emphatic do. I do like to do this. I mean, those things students don't know until you tell them or until you make them aware of the differences they might find in any conversation. So I think that you must teach a little bit of the. I mean, you must tell them how to or to guide them how to analyze their patient say signals in communication, their tone, their gestures, their posture. All of that plays a major role in communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Okay,
agree
very
with
good. Yeah.
I agree with Carlos. All those signs and maybe uh, gestures and all that are helpful at the moment you are teaching a lesson. It's important. Yeah, that really is maybe a useful way to help the student to understand. Yeah, it is associated with the linguistics also.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, what else? What?
Sure. Well, I would like to add something. According to my partners have said already, and what I would like to say, for example, when we are introducing or teaching about idioms and well, idiomatic expressions, as you know, these expressions they are it's easy to get confused with when you analyze them. And for example, the students that they don't know what it means. For example, this idiom is raining cats and dogs. Semantically or literally, it means that well, it's raining animals. But as we know, that it's raining heavily or really hard. And I think that it's very important to introduce this in classes. These aspects of semantics and grammatics, analyze speech, to differ from meaning. Yes, and it helps. It enrich language. It enrich teaching, and I think it's very important to do it. When I was starting learning, this helped me a little bit because when I translate different words literally, and I didn't understand expressions or idiomatic expressions. But when teachers explain me through the grammatic meaning, uh, I understood better. So I think it's very important.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. But it makes me wonder about another thing. When you are teaching, okay, apart from the idiomatic expressions, because sometimes the idiomatic expressions uh, are like from other kind of levels. But when you are teaching, do you try to get close your students to the language, or do you try to get close to your students to the culture? What do you do when you are teaching?
I think that you can get to know the language through the culture
Through,
or vice versa. You
uh-huh.
cannot just isolate each one. They're interconnected, intertwined.
Yeah.
Yes.
For example, well, yes, I mean, with idiomatic expressions, you can, well, teach them a lot. But for example, what about certain gestures? For example, the one that we have for money. When we move our hands in certain way, in here it means something, but when you move to another place, it may be something offensive. So it's something you have to teach through the language, or I'm not sure. I got lost in my own idea.
It will
When
look
you teach,
attractive for the kids if we do it in that way.
mm, yes. Or for example, yes, with the idiomatic expression, when, for example, you say it's not rocket science, and you show it in a, let's say, in a video for warming up the class, they say, okay, teacher, I didn't understand this part that said was it's not rocket science. And you get them to the topic through a new idiomatic expression
Mm-hmm.
or a saying. You say, the early bird catches the worm. So what is that, teacher? What does that mean? You can get them into the topic you want to develop.
Okay.
Yeah, teacher, but cultural aspects are very important to analyze them, yes, because um, it's very important to have the experience of know the culture of the language, what is popular, where the language is spoken, and we learn from that. We really learn from that. We know we have to know about the culture, but also about language. Yes,
Yeah. I
they are
believe that
related.
we live nowadays. We live in a world where little misunderstandings lead to wars and contentions. So it's very important to teach students that cultural part of the language, where language is better acquired, better understood, so they can convey a message in a better way. And when they do that, they need to analyze the speech, not only the speech that they are receiving, I mean, what people say to them, but what they say. Before saying it, they need to think of their expressions, their way to making themselves clear, or giving their message, their ideas, just to avoid confusions, to avoid misunderstandings, and also to help them express in a good way.
Mhm. Okay, and let's talk about a little bit because you are talking about this culture and making ma- be yourself understandable for your students and have your students be understandable for everybody, but it also has to do with the semantic and pragmatic problem, right? Semantics and pragmatics. So, in the case of the semantics, that you know that it is a study of the meaning, but the meaning from the level of the utterance and the meaning from the level of the sentence. What do you think it is applicable or it is useful in order to work with your students in your particular cases because you have different kind of students? Do you think that it is going to be useful to have this idea of working with semantic, or at least not with the semantic theory, but with this perspective of having them being aware of the meaning from the beginning?
Mm,
It helps
well,
to clarify the meaning of words and sentences. For example, talking about stress, intonation. It's very important, yes, because we can say as the video of semantics and pragmatics establish an example. This sports and sports. We change the stress or the pattern of the stress. You can use it as a noun or as a verb, and to introduce this from the beginning helps a lot to understand many aspects of meaning. Yes, I think so.
Okay, but do you think that the kids, little kids, need the meaning in the two languages?
no, I don't think so.
No.
No.
I, Actually, I think that if you show them using gestures or showing a video, they can get it without going through the Spanish phase. And also, well, sometimes they resort to speaking Spanish because of the language they use at home most of the
Yeah.
time.
And
Also, you don't
actually,
have to show the meaning. Sorry, you don't have to show the
it's
meaning
okay.
when if you're covering in a class because sometimes in a conversation, students can get them from the context. For example, when you say "by the way" in a conversation, oh, excuse me, by the way, the students getting okay. What is this by the way? And
Gracious.
explaining it's difficult, but sometimes they just get it from the context of the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. For example, in my case, I teach science and English. It is not easy for a student to understand many concepts, scientific concepts, and I consider it's very important to use different strategies and maybe make a list of meaning of new words by using semantics. In this case, it's necessary. It's very necessary. And according to some grammar concepts that are not used daily in daily events or situations, I consider it very important to use semantics also.
Okay, very good. So I can see that you have a clear perspective of what could be included in in our classes, and it is very good and it is very nice. You know, next class we are going to have this discussion with these presentations about the semantics and pragmatic differences. However, I would like to know if you understand so far the difference between semantics and pragmatics. What is the difference?
Well, semantics is the meaning of the words, and pragmatics is related to exactly. Let me see. It's related to the speech or in relation to the user or circumstances of communication in some, yeah, by using symbols or signs of a speech, I think.
Pragmatics?
Yeah, pragmatics.
Semantic symbols
I think
and practice. Not just the-
I think that semantics is something literal meaning of a sentence. For example, today is Wednesday or today is Thursday. It means that today is part of a weekend, maybe. Instead, pragmatics is about the meaning in context or the intention of the speaker. For example, today is Thursday, so it may be imply a suggestion or invitation or something like that because it's a weekend. I don't know. It's maybe this a possibility or
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Now, when you say it's a little late for having dinner, it means that semantically we would say that it's just late for having dinner, but pragmatically we could say that maybe you
I'm
don't
hungry.
want to eat dinner in this moment,
yes,
or
exactly.
yes, or that you don't want to have dinner in this moment.
Yeah, that's good. And something is a literal meaning, right? When you say something literal, and then the implicature of something, it is different. But the implicature only not only has to do with the semantics, but with the pragmatic stage. I mean, right? Additionally, I will say that semantically we can say that although it refers to meaning, we have to pay attention also to the contextualization. Example, I could say, for example, that our notion here in Colombia for some things is dependable on our culture, and most of the
Yeah.
things, the meanings of the things depends. The meanings depend on culture as well, right?
Yes.
So there are some words, some expressions, some ways of saying something that we can replicate in English, but we don't know if they work in English, right? Example, usually my students, I don't know, I call somebody, so I say, for example, Sebastián or Carolina, and they say, tell me, what do you think about that? Tell me.
It's not correct
Why not?
because in English you don't say like that. You say like yes or yes sir.
Why not?
I think it's correct.
No, it's not
Yes.
What do you
correct.
think
No,
about
it's
that?
not
I've
correct.
used it.
No.
But you know, Lorena is right. It is not correct in English. It is correct in Spanish, but not in English.
Mm-hmm.
in English.
Well, we just you say something like, "What do you think?" or
No, but you don't need to be that formal. You can say what or yes or
Yes,
oh,
uh,
sir.
okay, okay, I got it.
I'm here.
I got lost in the example.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
say
Right.
I have a situation.
yeah,
For example, I heard many teenagers conversation that I can understand why they try to say me. For example, in some cases, it's like como, so did you? sisocos. So this is a Spanish expression for say yes, but this I think that maybe pragmatics is a little bit frustrating area of the study because it requires to make sense of people and what they have in mind, because maybe they are thinking other things that I think that they are thinking.
Okay, different from the ones that you think they are saying, right?
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
in that case, you have to pay attention to semantics and pragmatics at the same time. Can you say that we can't separate semantics from pragmatics?
No.
Mm, it depends on the purpose. Maybe if you want to go over
No.
the dictionary and make the students aware of the meaning of a certain word without any context, that would be.
Yeah,
And maybe that can help them clarify within the context what does that word mean.
yeah. For
But
example, what
that would be
about,
an approach.
yes, what if we are working with homophones or homographs? What happens?
Depend of the concept.
Yes.
Yeah.
When minimal pairs. Okay.
No minimal pairs with homographs.
Okay.
For
Well,
example, think about will, W-I-L-L, that it
hmm
could have like three uses, right?
Yes.
yes.
So how do you explain that?
How do you explain what is the that word has two meanings?
Sorry?
For example, I have an example. For example, when students don't know when you use have or has, if it is of possession or if it is the auxiliary verb for present perfect. And you have to take the student through all the context and through the explanation of the context. Like, oh, well, in here you have a verb that is using past participle, and also it's telling you, it's giving you a context of something that started in the past, and they differentiate those things.
Okay, very good. But what about my example? I said will.
It has to do in the context in the conversation. Because you don't say well, you don't say well. I mean, there are 13 things you cannot say with that. I mean, depends on what it's following.
For example, we can explain about the first condition about with will, and the other example are about sentence with will but different to the future or the meaning of the testamento. Is correct?
Yeah.
So, but I don't know what is the third function of will. Sorry.
Voluntad.
Yes. Okay.
So it is, as you can say here, semantics and semantics is sometimes can be separated from pragmatics, but
Okay,
pragmatics is going to depend also on semantics.
so you can
Okay.
give students different example for each meaning.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you
But
say,
it also depends on the context, different contexts and different ways of
Yeah.
saying things.
so you have
Yes.
to set up a different context for each example.
Mhm. So in this sense, we can say that our classes must be very connected to semantics and pragmatics, and they are connected to semantics and pragmatics. The problem is sometimes that we forget that. We forget that words are more than just words and more than just meaning, and we start just giving structures as we told in the previous class. So this is going to be dangerous. It is dangerous in the sense that they are going to learn only a list of vocabulary and a set of structures, but they are not going to be able to use this competence of being pragmatic pragmatical aware of what happens and how they are going to use the language. So that's why we need to understand what is happening, right, with semantics and pragmatics.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think we also should keep in mind we should take into account the context of the classes we're talking about, because maybe a teacher is worried about teaching pragmatics and semantics and not going through a set of structures and vocabulary.
No, but I didn't
But
say that. I didn't say that you have to teach semantics and pragmatics.
Oh well, I mean that you make students aware of the context and the meanings of those situations.
Yeah.
Because there are some students who, for example, if you're in a school who just don't care and they want to learn the structures because they just want to get a 5. They don't want to communicate, for example. So that has to do also with the way you teach, like the way the conditions are set up in the classroom.
Yes, of course, I know and I understand that, and it is not. I mean, I have lived that thing, but what I also say is that we can provide them a way to make English not just as another language, but as a language, right? And we can use them through through take it as something real for them. That is the problem sometimes, that we take English as something that it is not real, that it is not useful, and it is our fault as teachers sometimes, you know. I am not saying that there are conditions or there are things that they have to leave, because they have, and sometimes they are hard, but I am saying also that sometimes the way that we present our classes affect students also, right? And I'm not talking only about us. So using the language in a more pragmatic way, and I mean more practical way, it is going to be useful, more beneficial for them, right? That's only my suggestion.
Sorry?
Yeah. Sorry?
Teacher, don't understand.
Teacher, I can hear you well.
Yes, I know. It starts again, okay? The sign up
Yes, okay.
started going down, and there is a message here saying sign out is not stable. Okay, guys, so I have this problem with this connection, with my connection today. I want to invite you to start to prepare for next class. You know that we have the presentation about semantics versus pragmatics, and we are going to continue, and we are going to start working on reference as well. So next class we are going to work on that, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Do you have any question about the procedures of the class so far?
No.
No.
Not so far, teacher.
Okay.
Sure, I haven't seen anything further from this Sunday, but we have a mental map too, right? About the readings that you left, but I don't know anything about a presentation
I
after
couldn't
that.
understand, Lorena, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Carolina? Yes.
No, no, me. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, this is clear.
Okay, teacher, I know that we have a mental map due for this Sunday, and I think it's based on the readings that you left. But I don't know anything else besides that we have a presentation.
No, it is not a presentation about anything different but your mind map. Okay, it's just like a socialization. Don't say presentation, okay? Don't pay attention to me. It's like a socialization and a discussion, and we are going to start with sense and reference next class. Okay? It's about the same
Okay.
word. It's about the same mind map that you are mentioning.
Are we going to socialize our mind maps next class?
Yeah. This is in the program, I think.
So this is the activity for this week. The mind map.
The mind map. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
The mind map.
Okay. Good.
Right.
Can we use any software or any part.
Yes,
It's free
but
or
well, yeah, but a
okay.
recommendation is, guys, that at last, when you have your mind maps, please save them as a PDF.
Okay.
Okay,
PDF?
That's
PDF,
good.
Sure,
yes.
PDF. It is better
Okay.
for me to grade it and to have it to read it. So a PDF is going to be perfect for me. Don't forget
Okay,
Okay.
teacher.
don't forget to continue participating in the forum if it is necessary. If you feel that you have to say something else, please participate in the forum. And that's it, I think. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
teacher,
teacher.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice night, teacher.
Have a good night.
Okay, teacher.
So I'm
Bye.
going to give you 30 minutes, people who have the other class now, 20 minutes for
Thank
preparing
you.
for the next class.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
teacher.
teacher.
Or at least
Okay.
to have something before. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Goodbye.
Have a
Thank you.
good
Goodbye.
night.
Okay.
To gather up a little of will to take the next class.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
See you. Goodbye.
Bye.
See
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye. See you.